Keep your faith to the sunshine, and you cannot see a shadow. This inspiring quote, written by the great Helen Keller, grabbed me the moment I read it. Do any of you know what this quote means? For those of you who may have nodded, I've got to give you a round of applause, because I'll be honest, I didn't get this quote at first at all. But now, after going through some of the hardest times of my life because of this great pandemic, I've taken both the mental and physical journey, and I think I've stumbled on this meaning. Hi, I'm Dhruv Kilaru, a typical teenage boy who has been through and witnessed quite a few losses. Nothing compared to what some of you may be going through, like the loss of a job, or even more devastating, the loss of a family member or a loved one. But even though my losses may have been smaller, they still taught me a lesson that I want to share with you. So my journey started when I read a report from the French University Ipsos. The report states that, based on numerous factors such as health and living conditions, 64% of the world's population is happy. Unfortunately, this study was done back in 2019, and times have definitely changed this year. Just look at these numbers that the CDC gathered. Many people are trudging through 2020, grappling with crippling, heartbreaking loss. So many people are so unhappy. But I'm here to suggest that there may actually be a way to get our happiness back on track. Let's start with me. Like many young students, I felt like the end of spring break was a portal to a different dimension. School, which is at the center of any student's lives, suddenly turned upside down. Along the technical challenges of online school, I felt that education had been deeply impacted. I'd always enjoyed being challenged, but now that challenge just became another loss to add to the list. I felt the academic bar had been lowered, and I couldn't wait for things to become normal again. When fall came around, 8th grade seemed somewhat more promising, and even a little more challenging. But unfortunately, nothing replaced school except for school. Another way I've been impacted involves basketball. Basketball is one of my greatest ways of working off stress. It's my bridge to socializing, and it's also one of my biggest passions. That is, until March of 2020 took that away. Like any teenage kid, for the first week I pouted, complained, threw fits, and even went on strike against my parents. Well, that didn't last long. One early morning, however, I tied up my New Air Jordans, grabbed my favorite yellow basketball, and then went out to my driveway hoop. And there, I started to play. I started to shoot. Yeah, it wasn't a team, and nobody was even keeping score, but it was still basketball. It was still my passion, and nobody, not even the great pandemic, could rob me of those moments that some might call hope. And I think that's key to finding happiness, even in the midst of loss. Because a loss is inevitable, but happiness isn't. We have to create our own happiness, and to do so, you need to know what it means for you. For me, happiness is how you feel once you've made the game-winning shot, no matter how many defenders try to slow you down. In fact, I probably feel even happier when I have defenders trying to hold me back, and yet I'm still able to succeed by making that shot. Someone else who was able to find happiness using this approach was civil engineer student Elliot Ryan. During the pandemic, he was able to build an entire roller coaster in his grandpa's backyard, just after watching YouTube videos. The pandemic gave Elliot the time for this incredible achievement, and I'm willing to bet that it made him happy. And I'm also willing to bet that each of you have found at least one more passion over the last several months, or have at least gotten more involved with a passion that you already had. If you haven't done this, I urge you to do so. Whether it's more time for family game night, or maybe reconnect with nature through simple walks, we can all grow as people in spite of this great pandemic, a time of significant loss. We can all learn new things from these unprecedented times. Soon, we'll be welcoming in a new year. And I know many of you will be glad to see 2020 go, but let's not lose the valuable lessons we've learned through this challenging year. And so I urge you, all of you, to always find those little moments of success and hope to get you through any hardships you may face. And whenever you can, I urge you to at least be happy. Stay safe, and thank you for listening.